Yes,
So,
very, very
welcome
fun.
everybody. We are on the Bonfire Career Professionals and Leadership Development call. So, yay! This is awesome. Hi there. Welcome, Mr. Scott Mason.
Oh, I'm
Welcome.
glad you made it.
So,
Yeah.
welcome. You get to see what we do behind the scenes, a little sneak peek, which is good. So, I want to give a shout out to our team. We have a number of our team on today. We've got Mr. Larry Monks. Say hi, Larry. And he's one of our certified coaches. And then we've got Kim Neese. She's one of our executive coaches, which is, she brings so much wonderful experience to our executives and leaders. And then we also have Pam, the delightful Pam, and my Brady Bunch screen. She's right here. And Pam, I couldn't do this without Pam. She manages so many wonderful moving parts of those people that are interested in understanding about our coaching programs and learning more, and then also making sure that everyone gets the value and the results that they signed up for. So thank you, Pam. And then we've got Coach Hannah joining us. Wave, Coach. Yay, that's so cool. And that's obviously Lindsay's coach because she just gave a really friendly hello, which is great. So welcome. Today we have a mindset lesson, and it's going to be around how do we overcome any nervousness, anxiety, hesitation, hold back, that type of mindset that can keep us away from our greatest, representation of who we are. I'm taking off my watch because I don't want it to interrupt me. And by the way, I'm Tina Marie St.Cyr. If you haven't met me yet, hello. I've created Bonfire about 3 years ago, and I've been a professional coach, master coach for over 11 years. And so I'm so grateful to be able to take the framework and the strategies and the tool sets that we use, that I've used for many years to help people in leadership, also people in their life, and then in business to excel and become better humans. That's what we want to do. We want to become ultimately better humans. And today we're going to be diving into that from a career perspective, which is awesome. So welcome again. Hopefully you have a way to take notes. And if you're not taking notes just yet, maybe you're listening and we're in your ear in a replay, and the recordings are always available. So if you've signed up and registered through our Zoom link, you're going to be able to get that replay and any of the chat. So I welcome, and you'll notice on Zoom, I think we're all becoming very familiar with Zoom nowadays, is that there is a chat feature. So if anything I say, you have a question or a comment, or want to raise your hand, please use the chat to do that. This is interactive. It's not just me as a talking head. I want to answer your questions as well. Before we get started in the content, I want to ensure and make sure that you have marked your calendars. This particular call happens the second Thursday of every month, and it is at noon Central. So if you've registered through the Zoom link, you will get a reminder each month. It's the same link every month, so please do join us. And then second, we do accept and love your referrals. There will be people that you know that have struggle, challenge, problems, maybe that they're speaking about feeling stuck either in their career or as a leader in their career. Please feel free to offer them a complimentary discovery session with our team. They can speak with Pam, they can speak with me, they can speak with one of our coaches. And what we ensure during that discovery session is that they walk away with something that they can apply then and there in that problem set to move them from where they are to where they'd love to be. And sometimes they also say, I'd like to learn more about your coaching program. It's not a hard sale in any way. We simply offer it. And we're here to be of service to those people that are in that place, especially the ones you know directly. So thank you for your referrals. Also, we have some master classes coming up. Many of you have attended the 2 LinkedIn master classes that we've already done. Raise your hand if you love those. I know that some of you said, okay, I was on that master class, is great. So we've talked about how do you increase your visibility of your profile, how do you use all the features inside of LinkedIn to find your way to be more visible to recruiters, hiring managers, and to your network. Then we also took you into how to use LinkedIn as a job board and what are recruiters really looking for, and how do you stay abreast of the different things going on inside LinkedIn from a career search standpoint. This third masterclass is going to be my personal hacks of how you get your resume made on a LinkedIn profile so that people match your resume and your needs with the job description. So I'm going to help you understand how to do that. And then the messaging you can give to hiring managers, how do you actually get in front of them and have conversations with them outside of, circumventing the system. That's what we want to do. So I'll be talking about those hacks, and that's coming up at the end of the month. You're going to be seeing that in your email. So watch for that. Next Level LinkedIn Masterclass. And then we're also in August launching a masterclass on interviewing skills. We're going to touch on those today. Interviewing skills. And then in September, we're going to be talking about negotiations. How do you do salary negotiations, increase negotiations at that pivotal, I've been reviewed and now I want to have more. Maybe it's the negotiations to up-level your title or your bonus ranking. So we're going to be talking about that in September as well. So just letting you know what's on the ready and what's coming your way. We do have 3 calls every month that we meet in as a group, just like this one. The first one you're on right now is the Career Professionals call and Leadership Development call. Next week, if you know or are a business owner or have a side hustle or would love to be in the circle of entrepreneurs in that mindset, we have what we call BBOM, which is the Bonfire Business Owners Mastermind. That this month is happening on the 3rd Thursday. It is the 3rd Thursday every month. However, this time we had to bump it up to noon from 4 o'clock because I'm training a corporate team in the afternoon. So that'll be noon next week. And then every month we also have what we call Bonfire. Bonfire is our social gathering of the entire tribe where we get to introduce you and you get to see each other's faces. And we have a general talk about life skills and things that are needing to be improved. We want to become better at, more resourceful. And we also share resources as a group, which is really great. And that happens on the last Tuesday of every month at 7 p.m. So enough of all the logistics. I just wanted to cover that. So let me see who else I can welcome. Hello, we have some guests. Hello, Tweet, thank you for joining us today. And then we have Gwendolyn and Anu, thank you for joining. Anu's a very powerful executive. And Jorge, hello, sir. Nice to meet you. So today we're talking about mindset and energy. Wouldn't you agree, and just by show of hands, wouldn't you agree that mindset and the energy at which we bring ourselves forward in communications and interactions, be it through an interview process, job hiring process, or simply we're already in a job and we're having meetings with people, that mindset and energy is probably the first determinant on whether or not we're going to get our results met and our needs met, right? So we want to talk about that mindset. We want to talk about that energy. Is through the interviewing process, many of my clients and many of our coaches' clients have a bit of hesitance or a bit of anxiety or maybe some nervousness. And even if it is at a low level, it's still palpable and it's still perceived by the people across the table, or in this case, on the phone. So I want to give us some strategies and ways to remedy that and calm down any nervousness, know where it's originating from. That way you have the strategies to heal it, yeah? The first thing is we want to frame ourselves in an interview. So I'm going to use as a guidepost through today's discussion an interview process. You could still use these same strategies if you're having a board meeting, if you're having a meeting with your cohort, if you're having a meeting with clients in a sales perspective. All of these things still apply across many different venues. However, today we're going to talk about the job interview hire process. So we want to frame the energy. We want to frame the energy in our own mind of why we're doing something. Why are we participating? And every single one of us needs to have a higher vision. So there's going to be a pain point or a struggle or I'm not happy here and I want more. I want more out of life. Maybe I want more compensation. Maybe I want a different industry. Maybe I want a job because I've been furloughed or I'm not in a job currently and I need to have that in order to meet my needs, which is pay the bills, have money coming in. Whatever the reasoning, you need to have a why. And we need to tell ourselves what that why is, not just assume that everybody else has the same why. It needs to mean something to you. And we suggest that you write it down with your handwriting. It's really great to get very articulate and have a conversation with your inner self to say, this is what I want. And for those that are in our coaching program, you have received the 3-part list. In the 3-part list, it helps you get very clear on what do I want? What would be nice as bonus adds in that want? And what are my deal breakers? This is our framework to help you navigate that your own internal conversation about framing your why. Why are you starting on this journey? Why are you in this journey and in this process? We need to remind ourselves that so we can have the energy to pursue it and not give up, right? The second thing is we want to quiet the comparing mind. The comparing mind is what typically generates the nervousness inside of our system. And I'm just going to give some examples. The nervousness that I have with one client right now is that he's at a director level position inside of a very well-known technical firm, and he wants to move to senior director. Now, in his current firm, he could have been promoted a couple times already. So he has the tenure, he has the experience, he has the depth of knowledge and the breadth of experience across many platforms. However, he strategically moved himself inside the organization so he could gain that broader vision of multiple product lines and depth of working with multiple business units. And so inside of his current organization, he would have been senior, possibly even VP, had he stayed a particular course. So regret could also raise its little ugly head. You know, did I strategically position myself well? Were those good moves? So if we look at the past, and try to reason with it or say, if only, that drops our energy state. And when we drop our energy state, that's when that comparing mind can start to come in. We want to nip that comparing mind in the butt, right? Because it's no good at all. Comparing could also be, I'm at this director level and I'm applying to senior level director positions. Well, what if other people are applying? There's like 80 other candidates and they're already at senior level director. They're going to choose them. Can you hear the comparing? That's going to drop the energy state. Our energy state's going to be what follows on when we're applying and submitting our resume. Our energy state's going to be what goes in whenever we're applying and submitting our cover letter. So energy state is paramount to think, and that starts with your mind. So I ask that we get curious about, where am I comparing myself? Am I comparing myself to past versions of myself that should be further ahead by now? Am I comparing myself to a future version of myself that I wish I was at, but it's been painful and I haven't been able to get there because I've been passed over for promotions, or someone else got the promotion and I didn't? You hear the story? Or am I comparing myself to the other people that are applying and thinking, oh, they're probably going to be better than me? If that's the mindset, then I can guarantee you're not going to get the job. And even if you got the job, you'd be coming in with that comparing mind that's already in the less than mode. Who's going to want to work with that? You wouldn't want to work with that. So in order to stop the comparing mind, we need to be honest about it and say, I hear that comparing happening in my conversations in my own mind. I hear that comparing happening in the stories I tell my coach or in the stories I tell others. And we need to stop it. That's basically it. We need to stop telling those less than stories and comparing us to other people. So here's another thing that I ask for the comparing mind to be healed, is go to your resume, go to your profile. If your LinkedIn is not as strong as you believe it can be, we need to take action right now to increase its effectiveness. I want you to look at your LinkedIn profile and go, man, that rocks. I love me. Yes, that represents me and I am shining and ready for other people to take a look at it. If there's hesitance in it, you're going, I need to work on it. Wow, we need to shore that up as fast as possible. Your coach can help you with that. If your resume is also not shining and you don't have this feeling of, here's my resume, it's really representative of me and my skills and my wants and what I can bring, then we need to shore that up. You can understand. Because how we represent ourselves in our branding online, or our branding on our resume, or our branding in our cover letter is what we're going to lead with. That's what we're going to perceive that the people that have already looked at us, the recruiters, the hiring managers, HR, that's what they know of you. And if that's what they know of you first, that's as high as your mind could say you're going to get. Other people say, well, once I get in there, then I can show them everything in an interview. At some level, yes. However, there's a part of us that's going to have holdback because that resume didn't talk about that, or my LinkedIn could have been better. You hear that? So we want to do everything we can to first shore up your online brand and your representation of you, and your coach works with you on that. Okay. The next thing in the mindset, in easing and letting go of nervousness, is being prepared. How do we be prepared for a job to hire process? Do your research. In one of our homeworks that your coach will have given you is we ask, go research 10 top companies that you would absolutely love to say, I've been hired by this firm. Yes. You would go to your parents and your spouse and your friends and go, I can't believe this is so awesome. I got brought on. I'm so excited about this. That top 10 list needs to be that level of energy for you. Now, will there be positions there? Maybe, maybe not. Will there be a chance for you to work for that company? We don't know. What we're doing is we're harvesting your energy level. We're harvesting what would you love, because what you would love is a roadmap to what's coming your way. If you don't investigate what you would love, you may sell for what it'd be okay, right? It'd be okay. In fact, I need to put in here the settling, because that was another thing that came up yesterday with a client. So be prepared. Get those top 10 lists, know those companies, know the industries you participate in. On LinkedIn, join groups that have access to that information for that industry, for those technical professional groups that are giving you news and updates so you can stay abreast of the changing dynamics happening. Because what happens if one of your interview questions is, why did you choose this industry for your career profession? Well, you'll have some answers. You'll have some answers of why it was a passion then and why it's still a passion now. And we want to be, and write this down, we want to be specific enough to be believable and general enough to be relevant. I'm going to say that again. We want to be specific enough to be believable and general enough to be relevant. Specific enough means you can pull history of specific projects and people you've worked with and problems you've solved in your work history. So, you know, you and I both know that whenever people are specific about things, we can believe it. It resonates like, okay, that person really did that, right? The general enough to be relevant is general about an industry, the forward movement or progression of an industry, or the latest news of something that's come out that's relevant because it's newsworthy. That shows that you're educated and you're staying within that industry and you're passionate about it. So if you're moving from one industry to the next, get very passionate about the industry you want to move in and have relevant data you can converse on in an interview process. I want to pause there and see if anybody has any questions based on what I've already covered, and then we'll jump into the next part of the call. If you do, you can chat. I'm going to go check the chat, by the way. Remember, there's a chat. You can chat. And no one's chatting yet. Okay, that's fine, but you can chat. And then if you have any questions, just raise your hand. If you don't, I'll keep going. Nope, good. Is this fun? Give me a thumbs up if you're enjoying this. Okay, cool. Awesome. So come prepared. The other thing to come prepared with are questions you want to ask the interviewers. You must come prepared with interview questions. We don't want to be like, imagine dating. Whenever we're dating, can you imagine going on a date and you're simply waiting for the other person to engage with you and you're not participating in it at all? How boring would that be? More than that, it doesn't show that you're really interested in the process. And so they're going to go, wow, this person has no energy, no personality. They're not into us. So forget it, right? So we want to come with questions. And I'm going to give you, there is a document. Let me see if I can upload a document here. That is our way, our baseline questions we want you to have. And this is definitely from a leadership standpoint. And I see every one of our clients as leaders. Even if you're beginning in your industry and you're beginning in your career, you're still a leader. Have that mindset. I'm a leader. Leader is not, I'm a boss. Leader is not, I'm a manager and I get to tell people what to do. A leader is a mindset. I want to be an influencer. I want to be someone who contributes within the organization. I want to be seen as a strategic mind and conversation that elevates the energy and allows us to create solutions instead of just identifying problems, right? So I'm going to find this. Yes, it's on my computer. And I want to give you this PDF so that you can see the informational interview questions that we ask our clients to be prepared with. I think it dropped in. Good. And then I have a more formal one that is a little longer that your coach can provide you, and then you'll get some practice sessions on interviewing whenever you get to that stage of your process with your coach. So we want to be informed, and you need to have preparation. Let me highlight some of these. I'm going to share my screen. So strategic interviews are, how long has this position been defined as a role? Because sometimes it's a new role, sometimes it's a defined role. And we also want to ask there, have the job responsibilities changed over time? If so, what's that look like? The person in this role currently, what have been the circumstances for them leaving? Did they get promoted? Have they moved on? And you have the right to ask this question. These are some of those Tinder questions. It's interesting because we also have a dating formula for those that want to date. It's kind of fun because one of the dating formulas is understanding what were the past relationships like what was working and what didn't work, because you want to know, you're getting to know people. This is one of those touchy interview questions too. What would the ideal candidate bring to the position? You want to hear what their viewpoint is on that. And maybe they put in the job description, but more than not, they'll give you a lot more data in the interview. In a year, what would you love to see happening in this role? How you're going to start listening. Is this a forward-thinking company? Have they defined what success looks like for this role? How has the effectiveness of deliverables of the role been measured? We want to make sure that they have metrics for success. If they do not have metrics for success, then you may be set up to create your own, and it's a struggle. So we want to know that they're defined internally on what this role is and that they've thought through it. How much time per week does the management team invest in strategic planning? This is whenever we get to those leadership roles, the director, senior director, VP, and above roles. We want to know that the management team is looking at the metrics and planning strategically how things are progressing, not just hoping they are at a year end. And how is it performed? Who is all involved? So these are strategic questions. I love this one. How are company initiatives and goals communicated overall? Do they communicate the overall vision and metrics of the company, or is the internal communications pretty much just look at the prospectus, right? So you have this document now, and there's more whenever you work with your coach. That's part of your preparation, coming prepared to an interview. Any questions there? No? Good? Okay, cool. Take notes. Take notes in your interview. Why take notes? I had this one gentleman go, but I want to pay attention to what they're saying. Is it going to be rude if I'm taking notes? No. Someone who's taking notes is wanting to perfect themselves, is really listening. If you feel uncomfortable and nervous about taking notes, you simply frame it. As you come into the interview situation or even on the phone, you may say, especially phone or Zoom, say, I'm going to be taking notes during our session. I just wanted to let you know. Not asking permission. Is it okay if I take notes? Is it okay if I take notes? Gives the power to the interview. And what if they say no? What if they say no? Would that be awkward? Wouldn't it? So instead, we want to say, I love to take notes during the interview so I can write down things and think of other questions that I may be asking. And that's it. You're just simply stating it. You frame it. That'll help you with your nervousness or any anxiety from that lower mind that may come up and judge or think, are they going to think I'm weird for taking notes? No. You want to own that. Leaders take notes. We also don't want to be attached to the outcome. This is a big one. Big, big, big one. Now, imagine someone's been out of work for about 6 months or longer, and they're like, I really need to have the income. This is the job I think I want, and I don't want to ask too many questions. I don't want to put them out or, put them off. So I'm just going to play nice and be a yes man or a yes girl. No, they're hiring you for all of you. You need to participate with all of you and not come from desperateness, because desperateness is not hireable. And through our interview prep and mock sessions, we can help you navigate that more specifically. However, not being attached to the outcome is a huge way of being. The truth is, you want them to hire you for you. If they don't resonate and they don't get it, we don't want to force. We don't want to force it. You come representing yourself with confidence, presence, the questions, the preparation. And I'm going to give you some more points here too. However, we don't want to be attached to the outcome. And I'm going to help you understand how to conclude an interview so that it doesn't feel as though you are attached to the outcome. Yes? I love Hannah. Hannah says here, thanks, coach. She says, no taking notes as an interviewee is like a waiter taking order for a 6-top table, right? Without taking notes. Don't you feel a little anxious about that? Like they're coming and they're just going nod, nod, nod. You're going, oh God, somebody's order is going to be messed up. Right, Hannah? You go, can you please take notes? Please. You got this? I do that. I'm like, you got this. You sure? So we want to take notes. Definitely. We want to take notes. And not being attached to the outcome. Because that would be that desperateness leading the way. And desperateness creates nervousness. Nervousness creates this weirdness in an interview setting. And you want the full you, that soulful you, to show up. They're going to fall in love with you, right? And you're going to be spending years with this company. So we want to do our best. Yeah. We don't need to force it. It just naturally comes from an effortless way of being. Especially when you work with your coach and you go above the line in our framework there. For those that are new to us, there's a framework. We have below the line thinking and we have above the line thinking. Below the line thinking is not hireable. It's stuck. It's desperate. It's like, please pick me, pick me, pick me. And above the line is, what can we do together? It's a team, together, us. We're moving the ball forward. And that's what we want. We want to be part of dynamic, engaged, resourceful, individual thinkers that contribute and have these collaborative conversations. It's painful to be in a team where there's a lot of me's, where they're vying for position and identity and significance. It's very painful. And right now, the corporate training that I'm about to engage in on Monday, the leadership engaged me to help remedy that me mindset. That is like there's that word going around right now. It's like a virus in the thinking of a team and of a culture. So as interviewers, you're an interviewer too, going into an interview, you get to ask questions, get to know what they're like. And if they're not being forthcoming, you're going to get that vibe. You're going to feel that. If you feel as though they're hesitant and drawing back or maybe looking at each other or hesitating on their answers, for me, I'd go, what is the culture really like? Are they recruiting me? And then whenever I get in, it's not so good, right? So we get to use our gut too. Then let me talk about settling. So one of our clients, and this happens, it is normal for the human mind to do this, which is tolerate bad environments, or you're sold on a job description or responsibility or even a hiring package. And then you get there for negotiations and it's less than what you were told, right? And we want the job, we've come so far. And so we just go, okay, I'll take it. That's settling. And this one particular gentleman, he has been out of work for a while. And he yesterday said, I think I'm just going to go ahead and, listen to the language set. I think I'm just going to go ahead and. That's settling language. That's like red flags for us going, oh, I think you're settling. Oh, no. He wants to just go ahead and take a job where he is for a year, maybe 2 years. That's going to be painful. That's going to be settling, tolerating. You're not looking at the next move as something that's going to be fulfilling. You're not looking at the next move as something that's going to meet your needs. You're just sort of putting a Band-Aid on the pain and not going to look at it for a while. And then underneath, you're still hoping that you can get that dream job on the other side. That's one avenue. It's not what we suggest through the Bonfire method. We want you to go full force into what you would love, and trust us. The energy of you going for what you would love is going to be so much better than settling. I had this one lady, she, on paper, the gentleman she was engaged to was really good. Through the engaged period of time, she learned some things that were deal breakers. And she's like, it's not so bad. You're about to get married to this person and have children with this person. What are you talking about? And I liken that to a career. The people that we surround ourselves with in a career, in a job setting, become our thinking. They become who we are. They can either help us elevate and move to the next level, and we have joyous conversations and fulfilled conversations and happy conversations with our loved ones in our family unit, because who's been in that situation where work comes home with you and now you've got to be that sounding board to the person who's not happy? You don't want to be that person. So here through Bonfire, we don't want you to settle. And we will be that voice of reason that says, let's pull out your 3-part list, your must-haves. These aren't there. There's some deal breakers here. What are you doing? What are you doing? Don't stop before the miracle happens. What happens if next week that job that you were looking for is now posted and you had every opportunity to win that job and land it, but you settled? I had another gentleman who's working for a large firm, and I asked him, what brought you here? Because he was wanting to move on. And I could tell the energy he had, and he'd only been there for 3 years. The energy he had about his job was almost like something preempted it, like something was before the job, right? And I said, tell me about that. And he said, well, I really needed to join on with a big firm so it could be on my resume, and I didn't want to have a long period of time between my master's and getting a job, so I went ahead and took this one. Really? What were you really looking for? He said, funny you should ask. He said, man, I really wanted to move to California and I wanted to work for this firm, and it was, starts with an F, ends with book. He wanted to work for this firm, and he said, what really pissed me off, he said, I took this job, and then one of my master's graduates, he's a fellow graduate of mine, the next month he landed the job I wanted. They moved him to California. I said, whoa. I said, it was only a month difference. He goes, probably not even that long. It was probably just 2 weeks. I said, you don't stop before the miracle, right? So we don't want to settle. The framework we have with the 3-part list and the top 10s and the energy that you're going to learn and the above the line thinking is going to land you and get you to the job you'd love. However, you've got to stay consistent and you've got to stay persistent. Fair enough? Next, following up. Once you have the phone interview, even when you have that initial conversation that says that you're scheduled for a phone interview, if you have a contact, write them a thank you note. Looking forward to our conversation on da. We want to, it's not over communicating. A lot of people go, I don't know, I don't want to bother them. We live in a time where communications are typically very surface and heartfelt communications are lacking. As a leader, you want to have very precise, respectful communications. And when you have a phone interview, send a thank you card, a literal written thank you card, sign it, and send that to the person who interviewed you. You will stand out. These things don't happen. Yes, right, Hannah. Handwritten notes are always appreciated. When you have interviews with a team, if you do not know their names, I've been seeing there's Zoom interviews where it's a whole group interview. And by the way, that can be nerve-wracking. We need to change your mindset. What's really great about group interviews is that you get to meet everybody at the same time, and it doesn't waste anybody's time. And in an energized group interview, we're forming more connections to them. And I guarantee whenever you do well in those, you're an ace. If nervousness leads the way, they're going to feel it. They're going to feel it. So work with your coach. We want to heal this nervous tension if it has a pattern of coming up at all. And breath is so needed. Just take a breath. And it doesn't need to look like you're taking a deep breath. So this is where you don't want to do like, you don't want to look like you're taking the breath. You want to just calmly take the breath and keep breath moving through your system through the interview. It'll definitely help ease the nervous tension. So follow up. If you're in that interview and you don't know their names, so here on Zoom, you could do this with your mouse right now. You can see people's names. Now, hopefully they're not like Pam was yesterday. Pam was me. You can go, wait a second, there's 2 Tina Marie's on this call. Who's the real one? You can go in and you can see their names. See their names. And then look them up on LinkedIn. You want to go friend them on LinkedIn, connect with them on LinkedIn. Thank them in LinkedIn with a message. Thank you so much. I enjoyed our interview today. Can't wait to get to know more about you. I'd love to stay connected. Do that. And then if they are your hiring manager, if they are a director, if they are a VP level, if they are of a hierarchy inside the organization. Definitely want to get to know them. Find how to get them a handwritten note. Typically, it's going to go to their desk. Do not get their personal at home physical address. Find the company address, find out what city they work in, because sometimes they're all over the place now. Like the company I'm training on next week, we have people in Florida, Washington, D.C., Baltimore, New York, Chicago, London, and Venezuela on the call. So we want to find out, where are you? Have it participatory. Have your interview be participatory, not just one-sided. Follow up. So also ask them, so what's the timing on making a decision for this position? Help me understand. What's it look like? How many more candidates do you have to interview? You get to ask this question. There will be a competitive field, and you want to know what the field looks like. How many people have already interviewed for the position? I simply want to know where I stand. If it's a one-on-one interview, you can even ask this. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being, oh my God, no, and 10 being, love this person, speaking third party, right? Love this person. How do you think I did today? Just wanting to get a range of did I answer the questions that you had? Do you feel as though I meet the needs and fill the requirements of the position? Just want to make sure we're still on the same page. You get to ask that. And then a really cool hack. So you love the job. You love the hiring manager. You're like, oh my God, this would be a dream job. Can't wait to land it. You want to stand out from the competition of the other interviews. You know where their office is, and now we're working from home, so that's a little more tricky. Friend them on LinkedIn. Friend them on LinkedIn. And then say, you know, I'd love to send a gift in the mail. Where would I send that gift? Would this be your office, or would this be your desk at home? Home office, right? Find a business book. You can go stalk them on LinkedIn. I have my clients do this, stalk them on LinkedIn, see if they're quoting authors, see if they're quoting different people that are industry experts. If they're following a group, you can see that, all it's public information. And find a business book or find a human dynamics book. Find something of a leadership value that you can get the book, the little book, and inside, write a note. It's great to do on cardstock. Write a note, send them a note. Thank you for the interview. I look forward to our further discussions. Would love to join your team, and send them a book. You send a book to their desk, it's going to get past the gatekeepers. It's going to get past HR. It's a gift, and it's from you. So that's one of our hacks to get past that. So whenever you have strategy up your sleeve, it takes out the nervousness, because you're elevating your brand, you're elevating your message, you're elevating who you are in their eyes. And nervousness comes when we think we're comparing ourselves to other people, which you need not do, right? There's different follow-up whenever you're looking at different positions. So sales positions, you definitely want to follow up timely, like that day. And you can be a little bit more aggressive if they're saying, you know, we'll get back to you. I love that answer. We'll get back to you. You know, you're going to hear from us. That would just be like you're a salesperson. The customer's going, we'll call you. You're not going to be a very good salesperson if you just stop there, right? So they're looking at your engagement, and you'd say, thank you. I understand that's probably a really great response that you give people. I'm actually playing the role of your business development director now, because it's what you're going to want me to do. And the truth is, can we put it on our calendar when we're going to follow up with each other? I'd love to call you. What would that look like? So as a sales or business development, or someone who's going to forward move product development, engagement with customers, things of that nature, you get to be more aggressive. They're seeing how you're going to be. From something that's more back office, more finance, or process oriented. You could ask things like, what is your typical process on follow-up? What is your typical timing on this? I'd like to make a note, and physically bring out making a note or putting it in your phone so that you can see that you're organized, because they're going to want to hire you for your organization skills and your precision, right? Leadership, we've already covered that. Send a book, send a handwritten note. Leaders communicate in a very specific way. Executives like precise conversations and something of an elevated viewpoint. So that's how much I had for today. It's about easing your anxiety, easing any fears. It's a mindset game. And it's energy game. You get to own your energy. And whenever you leave that interview, tell yourself, you want to inventory. What did I do well? What did I not do well? And this is from an outside perspective, not, oh, I'm going to take it personally. Oh man, I screwed that up. That's not the language we use here. We simply cultivate and harvest. What did I do well? What am I happy about? What could I improve? Because this is just like archery, man. You're going to hit the target, you're going to improve. We don't beat ourselves up with, man, that arrow didn't go in the doggone bullseye again. No, you're simply shoring yourself up. Do not take anything personally. It's not personal. They're filling a role based on a job description. They're looking for a puzzle piece. It's not personal. Fair enough? So this is the part where we open things up so that we can have discussion. Let's use real cases, things that are going on for you, so we can apply this and help you become better. So who has any questions? And even our guests, you get to ask questions too. So any questions for me or any of our other coaches? I want you to hear from our other rockstar coaches because they are actually smarter than me. So who would love to ask questions? You can either chat it or raise your hand. Yes, Lindsay. Lindsay DeBoard, unmute yourself, dear.
Hello.
Hi, congratulations again.
I got my sparkles back while we were talking.
You did? Hold it up to the camera. We want to see.
Let's see if you can see.
Oh, wow. How pretty.
I know he did so well.
Congratulations. That's so fun.
Beautiful.
Yes, thank you. He did very well. It's like a antique ring. Anyway, I'm gonna come at you hard on this one.
Okay.
Not really. So I agree with everything you said about not settling and or tolerating. I think that's one of the great things that you guys all impart. In fact, I just wrote a blog about, not taking the nearest life raft. So that's my caveat. I'm totally on board. I agree. However, let's talk about like settling in a time of like true desperation in our current job environment. And, there's a lot of people that, are looking at settling as surviving. So, there's many of us, I'm gratefully not included currently. So, but that might change. Who,
Knock on wood, no, it's
are right. Who are in a situation where, their lives and their families' lives sort of depend on the next paycheck. So, my solution to that in my mind is, if you have to settle, make space for whatever the better next step is in your life, and try and create opportunities for yourself in the space that you have outside of whatever thing. So, but I'd be interested in what your thoughts are when, you truly have to have a job. And, if it's Starbucks or a, senior director job and that's what's in front of you and you got nothing else as a backup, then, I can see how that would be a challenge.
Yeah. So it comes down to mindset again. So it's, do we view it as settling? Because if we want to take this, we need to wholeheartedly jump in and say, I choose this. Settling comes where it's, I have to. It's like I'm being forced to do it because of all these circumstances. And that's where the pain comes from. There was a graduating class at the University of Houston that I got to do the commencement address for. And I spoke to them and I said, even if you choose to be a garbage collector, be the best damn garbage collector there is. And choose that 100% with all your soul. Jump in, own it, claim it, be the best, be happy. If we have a mindset of I'm settling and I'll just take this, and it's language first, right? We tell ourselves the story inside of our head before we articulate it to other people. And so my client that yesterday was saying, right now I'll just do this. He's already told himself a story that it's going to be painful. What if you take this job, go at it like it's just the best thing. You go at it with that energy. Who's to say that they don't open up the next job in the city that you would love to be in? In fact, I'll tell you another story of Janny. Some of you have heard the story of Janny. So Janny worked here in the Houston area and she vacationed or her leadership role took her to New Zealand, and out of New Zealand from that leadership retreat that she was at, she vacationed in Australia. And she was already over there. I'm going to spend a couple of weeks and go into Australia. So she went to Australia, went to Melbourne, fell in love with the people, fell in love with the country, and said, oh my God, this place is just amazing. She comes back. That was December, which is their summer. She came back in January. We were planning her January, everything that we do in our deep dive for a year. And she can't stop talking about Australia. She's sitting there in the chair, just like, oh my God, have you ever been to Australia? The place is amazing. The people are so great. Oh my God, they're so healthy. 3 times of just boasting and energizing the conversation with Australia, I wrote up on the board, move to Australia. Meanwhile, we're planning her entire year for Houston. In the leadership position she's in currently, with the company she's in currently, because she's an executive there. And of course, that's what we are going to pay attention to. She looks, she goes, what'd you write up there? I said, move to Australia. She goes, I'm not going to move to Australia. You're kidding me. I don't know, but everything about you saying you want to move to Australia. There's no jobs in Australia. How do I even get to work in Australia? I said, Jenny, you know our system here. You know how we work. She goes, yeah, I know. I said, what if you did move to Australia? Would you love it? Oh my God, I'd love it. That would be the best thing ever. Jenny, you've got to move to Australia. But, and here's where the lower mind came in. I don't know how, right? Has anybody else done that? Like, I want this, but I don't know how. And it goes, like rock, paper, scissors, And so I said, let go of the how. Just claim what you would absolutely love. Claim it. Sit in it for at least, give it a couple days, at least like have a glow about what you'd absolutely love. She said, okay. So she did it. Within a week, her company, the one she was working for, she gets a call from one of her business, unit partners. And he says, I know you've been talking about Australia. Did you know they just opened up your job in Australia? She goes, what? Your same job is open in Australia. You've got to be kidding me. Yeah, it's in Melbourne. She's like, oh my God. And so we immediately got busy with her interviewing for the job. She got the job, help her move, show up where she is in the US, the whole thing. Janie to this day lives in Melbourne, Australia. She's an executive. Had she just listened to, it's not reasonable, or, I'm just going to stay here. This goes back to your conversation. Our next step, if we meet it with an energy richness, if we go into it full force and claim it and own it and have fun with it and go yes to it, it's no longer settling. And it can be the very pathway where you want to be. Don't lose vision of that. Does that make sense, Lindsay? Even if it's Starbucks, the person coming through the line may be the person that's going to be your future business partner or executive. We never know, right? It's the energy richness that leads the way. And without energy richness, everything else is just settling. Literally, everything is. Or at least it's neutral. And neutral is no fun. That's called the mundane, the mediocre, life's okay, right? We don't want to have life's okay. We want to have life's amazing. That's why you're joining Bonfire, because we light your life, right? That's cool. Thanks for asking that question. That answer your question, Lindsay? Jump in with both feet, not just one toe. What other questions do you have? In fact, bless you, Jackie's here. In fact, coaches, Hannah, what would you say toward that? You're her coach. We want to hear from Coach Hannah. What would you say?
Yeah, I mean, Tina Marie, as always, you clearly break it down to the smallest common denominator. It's not that sometimes we are not forced to make a decision that isn't what we dreamed or what we would love, right? The difference in an above the line mindset and a true allowing God to give us the opportunities is the difference in I am forced to and I am going to, or this is what is in front of me. And so if this is what in front of me, I'm going to walk in believing with my faith that this is going to turn out the right way. Yes, we get in bad situations. Who here, I want to raise a hand, who's been hit by something that laid you flat that you had no control over?
Yep.
Whether it be an illness or death. Yeah.
Breakup.
We all have situations that life gives us that absolutely impact what we would dream of and desire of. It's not that that's the issue. It's how we respond to it. And we can respond to it from one of two ways. We can respond to it sulking, angry, kicking rocks, and fine, I'll go do it. You know, or you can say, this is the opportunity that's in front of me. I believe that I've been taken care of my whole life. I will continue to be taken care of, even if I can't see that step. And we walk in faith. And we all walk in faith every day, even if you don't know it. So it's that attitude and the mindset of, you know, belief. We believe. So that'd be my God. I also wanted to add one more thing while you're in the interview. Ask for references, right? And I think this goes for dating as well. Ask for references. It is okay to ask for a current reference, somebody who works in the business company, and also a former employee, right? And there you are a former employee somewhere. And how nice would it be if somebody called and asked you your opinion on the company that you no longer work for? And generally you would give a candid response. And I would say, you know, of the few job changes that I have made, when I ask for interviews and I speak to somebody, their comments, they set me up for success, because they set me up for what I should be expecting. And so it will help you make a decision about, is this really where I want to go, if that's a choice that you can make. So add references on your list.
Yes. And that's another courageous conversation, right? We want to come forward with that courage, because that's who they're hiring. They're not going to want to hire a wimp that they can just boss around. In fact, if we have anxiety and nervousness and hesitance that we lead with in an interview situation, I guarantee we're going to be setting ourselves up for internal abuse in a career. And you don't want to have that. You don't want to attract that into your life. You don't want to attract a bad situation. So that's where we need to shore ourselves up, come with confidence, not overconfidence, because overconfidence is cocky. We don't want to do that. It's the real authentic nature that we bring, so that we know that they're hiring you. They're not hiring a pretentious version of yourself where you're trying to fit yourself into their puzzle piece, because that's just painful. No stretching in that regard. You can say things like, I'm willing to grow. In fact, I have a strong self-growth game. And that's true. I mean, you wouldn't be on this call if you did not have a growth game, honestly. And so I also wanted to reach over to Kim. If you have anything that you've seen in the interview process that you can add that I did not add, because Kim's one of our awesome executive coaches. And I know you have some direct, from project management and hiring perspectives on this. Could you speak from the hiring angle?
I have about 1 minute. I will.
Okay, so sorry.
No problem. No, thank you for asking. Everything you said was really good. My personal experience and what I coach people on is be authentic. Don't pretend to be somebody you aren't, because that comes across loud and clear to the person that's interviewing you. So take time to embrace and love yourself before you walk in, because they're going to love you too, because you are going to be authentic. Some of the other things that I've told people is just, be prepared. Like Tina Marie says, always be prepared, always bring questions. If the questions get answered during your interview, you can do a follow-up question to a question that you have. So keep that in mind when you're working and preparing for an interview.
Yeah, if you forgot to ask something during the interview, you could just ask at the end of a phone interview or in person or Zoom, say, if I think of other questions that I haven't yet asked here, who would I follow up with directly? So get that permission.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you, Kim. Have a great meeting.
Wonderful session. Talk to you guys later. Thank you.
Talk to you soon. Bye, Kim. So this is what our Bonfire Career and Leadership Development Call looks like every month. And we do this as a group so we can hear each other, and you can come with any of your questions for the group, or share your experiences of maybe you've gone through an interview and this question was asked and it threw you off your game and you're going, okay, we all need to prepare for this one. Or you could let us know, sometimes you're in an interview situation, you realize you don't want to work for that company, but it's an opening. So you could share it with the rest of the group and say, this company is hiring and I'm not going to take it, but you may be interested in it as well. And we get those things. And so there are some definite hiring opportunities right now with AWS, which is the Amazon Web Services. They're hiring strategic vice presidents, program developers, product managers. They're hiring in their cybersecurity division. I know right now that Siemens has a huge need for a, what is the position title? It's going to be a senior director for sales and business development, and it's global, for their cybersecurity division. And so they're looking for people with cybersecurity background, security, infrastructure, management across different business units. And this is specifically in Siemens Energy. So it's not necessarily oil and gas, it's related to, however, they're looking at their overall platform for the energy profile. And who else is hiring right now? We had some new jobs come in. So we're not a recruiting firm. So we don't get paid by the employers. We don't get paid by job placements or anything like that. We work specifically with the client. And that's what really makes coaching so much more beneficial to you, because we're in your corner. We're looking out for your benefits. The recruiters don't. I mean, I love recruiters, and we have to have those relationships with them, yes. But a recruiter's job is to work for the employer. That's who pays them. So they're not looking out in your best interest, and they're never going to ask these types of questions that you're going to get through the coaching process. So we make sure that you're authentic to you and you're representing yourself at the top of your game. We also help you push back on salary negotiations, because they're going to lowball you. They need to. I mean, they're coming in at a budget number and they want to get to the lowest level of that budget number. And there is a range on every single job hire. We're going to help you know how to negotiate that salary, negotiate that, the entire placement, be it vacation, bonus, move packages, all these different things, titles. Because depending on where you come in with a title, you could be at a level 1 and you are qualified for level 2. And if you go to level 2, you're going to be a 20% bonus instead of a 10% bonus. That's huge money. So we help you understand where you need to negotiate and come in. And then we also hear what are the different jobs that are out there, because our people, our coaching clients, are applying for these. We're helping them apply for them. So we see a lot of jobs, a lot of jobs, right? In so many different areas. And there's more virtual jobs appearing all the time where you can work from home ongoing. Some major companies are lessening their footprint from an office space standpoint to, lessen their overhead and having a more distributed workforce, which comes with its own, problem sets on communication. So our communication skills that we teach our leaders are very effective so that you can stay front of mind of your cohort. Any other questions that you have? Did you guys enjoy this? Was it helpful? Cool. Thank you for spending your time. And I know an hour just flies by. We could spend so much time with you. And if you're not here, yes.
I'm sorry. Hi guys. This is my first time here.
Yes.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. One of the things that the lady said that is gone is authenticity is the best. I interview a lot of people, and showing, and on the other side, you perceive the insecurity. You perceive, as an old folks like me, you perceive a lot of things.
Right.
Body language is the number one communicator. So I know exactly what they're going through in their hearts and minds.
Right.
The only thing that I can tell you is authenticity covers the whole thing. Mm-hmm. Wanted to have that job and how bad you want it is the key of any success to have a job. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I really appreciate your invitation. Okay.
Thank you so much, Jorge. Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys, all of you.
Thank you. So we do this every month, and I'm so glad that you had the time today. And for those that are watching the recording, again, please reach out to your coach, perfect this, put it in your plan, and make certain that you're reaping the rewards of your investment of time and money here. We want you to reach the ultimate pinnacle of everything that you came on board for. Thank you so much. And look for us on LinkedIn, look for us on Facebook, and we want to stay connected. If you're not yet on our newsletter, simply go to bonfirecoaching.com and sign up. You'll get the masterclass. There is a masterclass that will download for you, and you get to see me talking again about how to use your LinkedIn profile and increase your profile visibility. So that is at, and then Pam, if you could type that into the chat, that'd be great. Simply go to bonfirecoaching.com and sign up. You'll get on our list, and we give you tons of value. That's what we want to do for everyone. Definitely. So thank you all. And until next time, I'm Tina Marie checking out. Thank you for sharing your time with me. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.